Kamala Harris is so desperate to reach men, specifically black men, that she trotted out Barack Obama last week, who scolded black men and said, you know what, you're sexist because you're not voting for her. Well, that didn't go over so well. And she continues to have this, man problem. So she's got some fancy schmancy solution, which is not much of a solution. Frankly, I think it's a bit insulting. The idea that somehow you're just going to give out free cash, $20K to you. Promises about crypto protections. So black men get crypto protections, but Trish Regan doesn't. Hey, thank you very much. I have Ethereum, and I have Bitcoin. I'd like some protection too. And, then there's the marijuana stuff. We'll talk about that in a minute. But first of all, let's confront the reality, the elephant in the...
But it's men. I mean, I think the real struggle for the Harris campaign is young men, older men, men of color, white men.
Men. Okay, so she's got a real issue. She's got to go after at least the black men, because the thinking is, hey, Obama got them all. And you, lady, you're not getting any of them. So what can she do to stem the bleeding? I mean, she's really not getting any of them, as CNN told us earlier.
I mean, the bottom line is this. At this particular hour, if you believe the polling, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance with black voters since Richard Nixon back in 1960. Not 68, since 1960. That's 64 years ago. Among Hispanic voters, Donald Trump's going to put up the best performance for Republicans since 2004 and George W. Bush.
Wow. All right. So she needs to do something. I just don't know as I would have gone quite here. This is the economic agenda for black men, ladies and gentlemen. She's going to give out $20,000 in what she calls a non-forgivable loan. What is a non-forgivable loan? Or rather, a forgivable loan? It should be non-forgivable, right? Like, that's unfortunately some kind of Freudian slip, because intuitively, you shouldn't be forgiving a loan for $20,000, because guess what? It's not actually a loan then now, is it? Oh, no, it's not. A forgivable loan is not a loan. It's what you call a handout, okay? So she wants to give $20,000 to every black man that wants to start a business. Is it me, or does that actually sound like reparations? I don't actually think that's legal. Once again, Kamala Harris, you have no respect for the law or the Supreme Court of the United States of America, which told you, by the way, you cannot just wipe away everybody's student loans the way you want to. And guess what? You're not going to be able to just give out $20,000 to every single black man in America that wants to start a business. I mean, it's literally like, here you go. And I would just like to know, what qualifies you? Do you have to prove? It opens up a whole landslide mountain of questions. Does it not? Because it's not fair and it's not constitutional, but that's not stopping her, because this woman is so freaking desperate that she's out there promising $20,000 to every black entrepreneur, specifically black men, right? She's got to help black men. Another thing she wants to do, protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who make them know their money is safe. I'm like, are you kidding me? First of all, I didn't know that this was like a demo specific thing. I actually like crypto a lot. Polymarket, which I was just talking about, they use blockchain crypto technology, Ethereum technology, to settle all those contracts. It's really cool, right? Because they can do it like really fast and in real time. And I kind of look at it like the future of the derivatives market, if you would. Bitcoin is amazing. By the way, we're going to have Michael Saylor. He's like the godfather of Bitcoin, if you would. He's going to be on this show next week. So make sure that you have subscribed to the show. Make sure you hit the bell, all that good stuff, because you don't want to miss that. Michael actually thinks that Bitcoin's going all the way to, I think it's $13 million is his valuation for one Bitcoin. Given that we're somewhere around 60,000 and climbing right now, that's a really interesting hypothesis and idea. And listen, I've heard him speak on this. I introduced him recently at something and I was just blown away. And I'm like, Michael, you got to come on the show and talk to everyone. But I'm just like, how is this something for black men? I mean, yours truly is invested in cryptos. Am I not protected? Like, she's just going to use this for black men. Oh, and then there is legalizing recreational marijuana. So, of course, they're having a field day with this all over the media. They're like, wait a second. So it's like cash handouts, crypto, and MJ, right? I mean, is that what you really think of us? Come on, that's what people are saying. Is that what you really think of us? No, all she's thinking about is this, ladies and gentlemen, the fact that Donald Trump is at 60% and she's at barely 40% right now. She knows she's got to come up with something. So, hey, why not legalize MJ? I mean, this is wild, right? She's got a whole platform for it. I can tell you, I used to work at Bloomberg Television, and I remember talking to the former maybe he's still the chief of staff for Mike Bloomberg. And we talked about this at one point because I had done a lot of work on this. I had looked at what was once a very, very illegal industry back, you're going back like 16 years ago. A while back, I had some documentaries that were on CNBC. Marijuana USA was the second one, and Marijuana Inc. was the first one. It was all in this underground business because when you create these barriers, right, it creates opportunity. And so I was looking at it from that perspective. And I remember talking to him about it. And he said, you know what, we're going to push this at some point. This is going to be on the ballot everywhere. And this is going to be like gay marriage, except flipped. But I'm like, wait, didn't that happen? Like, I don't know about you, but when I walk down the street of New York City, I'm like, ooh, wow, you'd think we're out in the forest with all the skunks here. I'm just saying, I kind of thought like we were kind of been there, done that, over that. But nope, she's going to try and run on this issue. Except there's one teeny, itsy-bitsy little problem with that. Just a little tiny problem. I mean, Tulsi Gabbard pointed it out back in 2020 in the Democrat debate.
Now, Senator Harris says she's proud of her record as a prosecutor and that she'll be a prosecutor president, but I'm deeply concerned about this record. There are too many examples to cite, but she put over 1,500 people in jail for marijuana violations and then laughed about it when she was asked if she ever smoked marijuana. She blocked evidence. That would have freed an innocent man from death row until the courts forced her to do so. She kept people in prison beyond their sentences to use them as cheap labor for the state of California. And she fought to keep cash bail system in place that impacts poor people in the worst kind of way.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Okay, so it's kind of ironic that all of a sudden now she's coming out with a whole big grand plan to legalize it all, right? Given that she's the one that put everybody behind bars. It once again smacks of her being extremely disingenuous, right? Like there's no authenticity to Kamala Harris. She uses different accents depending on what part of the country she's in. She speaks in word salad and then expects 60 minutes to re-edit her sentences after the fact so that she can sound like she makes some sense. She flips out when the prompter goes down and then keeps repeating herself, including, I think it was Magic Johnson's number, 32, 32, 32. The other day I played you that clip. This is not somebody who really is qualified to be president of the United States, but this is a desperate woman who's looking at the real clear politics map. 302 is the expectation for Trump and Vance versus Harris Waltz at 236. So in other words, this lady's gonna get trounced, absolutely trounced. What do you do if you're gonna get trounced? Well, you pull out all the stops, including somehow going after the crypto bros. I mean, this cracks me up. As I was just saying, I mean, wow, you're going to protect cryptocurrency investments so black men who know them, who make them know that their money is safe. I mean, what about Trish Regan? Like, can I know that my money's safe? I mean, I make crypto investments, but do I not matter? Apparently in Kamala's world, I really don't matter. Like, you guys don't matter. I don't matter. And I'm wondering who does matter. Anyway, as I look at Polymarket right now and I see Trump up 60%, I'll tell you this. You know what? With a 60% chance of winning, it actually explains that the markets are on fire and that we're moving higher and higher and higher every day, including on those cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Take a look at Bitcoin today. We're up kind of ahead of where we were 5 years ago, you guys. So Bitcoin, we're looking at some really high numbers. I think that this is going to continue, actually. And I'll tell you what, mark my words, if Donald Trump wins, wow, you're going to see really big numbers here. in the last 5 years, up 752%. Of course, I am still kicking myself because I was reporting on this back when it was $10, and you had to get a hard wallet for Bitcoin. Look, we talk about this a lot on 76. We've done a lot on the channel. We've had a lot of success. We actually don't have Bitcoin, although I know that Rob is looking at it. We're together kind of weighing all this because I want you to have some exposure. I obviously really like gold, as you know, and I talk about gold on a regular basis. I consider it one of those ways to help hedge your portfolio, but Bitcoin's pretty darn interesting to me right now in that I think if it's a Donald Trump play. So when you look at Polymarket, right, and Polymarket is anticipating that he's going to win, I think that transcends into what you're seeing in Bitcoin. In the last few days, it's been up and away. And I've personally actually tried to buy more, but it's been challenging because it's moving higher so quickly. Anyway, to 76 Research, I just want to point this out right here. You can see proof is in the pudding. We've had tremendous success with all three of our model portfolios there at 76. And this is important for you to know because I do think that you got to put yourself first, and there's ways to do this. There's ways to invest, by the way, in Bitcoin. There's ways to invest very easily in Bitcoin and in Ethereum, and low cost ways to do it. You can do it so that you're not buying an entire Bitcoin. It's not like you get a plank 60 some odd $1,000 down. You can do this. Actually, I think BTC is actually around, ticker symbol BTC is around $6 today. Although, I was getting in when it was 4, so it's kind of painful to get in at 6. But I encourage you to take a look at this. And like I said, we're going to talk about it on 76 coming up. I'm also going to give you right here the link to 76 Research. Use code $, because this will get you, for the first 2 months anyway, the subscription for the 76 report at just $1, at just $1 a month. And then it moves up to $9.95 thereafter. But this really helps you get started. And listen, if you hate it, you can always cancel. And we'll give you your money back. So no harm, no foul. But anyway, I'm like, Kamala, crypto, and free cash, and MJ. I mean, sort of insulting, right? I mean, if you're a black man, it's like, wow, that's what you think of us, huh?